Hello everyone, a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to Valencia in Spain, where, guess what, it's raining. And has been raining for the better part of the morning as we're looking at the new livery on the Hublot safety car. You can see just how wet it is and how wet it has been all morning long. The rain and the water running off the balconies there, just above the pit garages, as you can see. As we look at the driver that will be going from P2 on the grid, Louis Prat. So Louis Prat then goes from P2 on the grid. Finished P6 in race 1 yesterday. And there the Valencia circuit unfolds ahead of us. This is the calendar where we've been to Bahrain. We're in Valencia with the Red Bull Ring in Austria to come. Then Le Mans in support of the 24-hour race, incidentally. Nürburgring, Imola, and then the world finale event at Mugello, the Finale Mondiale. We're about 30 minutes drive time from central Valencia, which is a remarkable city. And this 4.005 Ricardo Tormo circuit, named after the two-time world champion Grand Prix motorcycle racer, which features 14 turns, 9 of them left, 5 of them right, and every single one of them proved to be a challenge for most of the drivers yesterday with regards to track limits. We're not expecting the same problems today. Clearly, grip is going to be at a premium. Welcome to Valencia. Well, as you can sense, our postcard of the venue was filmed in somewhat more pleasant weather conditions than we have today. We're looking at the car of Christian Overgaard. His first race was at Le Mans in 2011. Did a very good job in qualifying today. Goes from P3 in the AM class. Emanuele Maria Tabacchi, we hear from now.
Hello, I'm Emanuele Maria Tabacchi. I'm from Italy, and I race in the Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli with the Rosso Corsa team. I started in the AM series this year after many years driving in track days, then in the FXX program. I started to do the Club Challenge, that it was a new thing created from Ferrari for people who wanted to go on track without racing. And after 1 year doing Club Challenge, I started to race. I was so happy because I won the first 2 races in Bahrain. The first one I was in pole position and I stayed first for the whole race. And in the second race instead, I started last, and in 6 laps I was already first, so I'm really happy. Now I'm ready for the Valencia round, and I really like this series because it's really friendly, it's really polite on track and also outside on the box. And going around Europe in this magnificent racetracks, you can also go and have a look to the cities, and it's really cultural, and you can go with your wife and stay for a fantastic weekend around Europe. It's time to go back to the track. Enjoy the Ferrari Challenge here in Valencia.
Sono molto contento di essere qua con Alessandro Vezzoni, uno dei grandi piloti del Ferrari Challenge.
Sono molto contento di essere qua con Andrea Bortolini, uno dei piloti ufficiali Ferrari.
Ale, raccontami un po' allora, com'è l'ambiente nel Ferrari Challenge, le competizioni, la vettura, l'adrenalina che provate in questo weekend?
Andrea, essere partecipe del mondo Ferrari è un'esperienza unica, fantastica, un sogno che ho da bambino. Le gare sono sempre molto adrenaliniche, i piloti sono tutti molto esperti, quindi partecipare con loro per me è un'emozione veramente forte e piacevole. È un sogno. Ogni gara ha un qualcosa in più e ogni gara l'adrenalina aumenta sempre di più.
Alessandro, sbaglio, stiamo diventando sempre più colleghi. Ho sentito che quest'anno inizierai una nuova avventura sempre nell'ambito delle GT, quindi il livello sempre più alto.
Sì, inizio, collega è una parola grande, io sono un piccolo gentleman. Comunque è vero, faccio il campionato italiano GT con la Ferrari GT3 insieme a Diamato, cerco di migliorare la mia qualità di guida in questa nuova esperienza che è ancora più esasperata, ma molto più avvincente e stimolante.
Quindi mi confermi che il challenge è davvero un ottimo trampolino e palestra, oltre al divertimento per poi arrivare alle vetture GT?
Sì, sicuramente sì, è una buona palestra, ho imparato tanto, non ho mai corso in macchina, neanche col kart, e quindi è stata veramente una grande esperienza fare 12 anni col Ferrari Challenge. Mi ha permesso di approcciare questo mondo GT che per me è un sogno.
So Andrea Bertolini and Alessandro Vezzoni, revealing the fact that Alessandro Vezzoni competing not only in the Ferrari Challenge but also in the Italian GT Championship with Daniele Diamato, who is in the studio next door to me as he commentates in Italian language. So, congratulations and best wishes to Alessandro Vezzoni. In the meantime, though, he still has plenty to do in the Ferrari Challenge in the Trofeo Pirelli AM class. I was tempted to say that the rain has stopped, but I think it hasn't. Apologies. Now, we're not being told yet whether we're going to be starting behind the safety car, but the starting grid is Björn Grossman, pole position, Louis Pret alongside. Then it's Fabian Volvend and Maximilian Meyer. Thomas Neubauer and Jack Brown occupying the first three rows of the grid. Jack Brown being the best of the Trofeo Pirelli AM drivers. Then we see Alessandro Bonaccini, Nicolo Schiro, Martin Nelson, Christian Overgaard, Marianne Safliarski, John Dillon. Good quality from John Dillon for this race. Ahead of Alessandro Vezzoni, the man we just heard from, Frank Rumi, Frederick Espersen, Ali Kamyab, Oliver Plasman, and Emanuela Maria Tabacchi, who we saw rowing across the beautiful pond in Valencia early. Sam Smith, Thomas O'Rourke and Jan Dennis. Sam Smith with work to do from row 10 of the grid. Of course, he took victory yesterday and subsequently picks up a grid drop, which is the success penalty which is applied dependent upon your results. Of course, you take a grid drop for the next race. So, umbrellas at the ready then. Still a healthy number of people here to enjoy the race action to come from the Ferrari Challenge, albeit in conditions that we wouldn't necessarily associate with being in Spain. However, it is what it is, and 30 minutes of race action to come. And Björn Grossman and Louis Pret will be leading the cars from the front row of the grid. Trofeo Pirelli Race 2 is about to get underway. The engineers leave the grid, and it is down to the drivers with rain lights on to compete for 30 minutes on this 4.005 kilometer circuit. And 9 left-handers, 5 right-handers, 14 turns in total. So let's hear from just one of our pole sitters now.
Hello, that's Thomas Neubauer, starting from pole. It's going to be a tough race under this big heavy rain, but I will give 100% to do a podium as yesterday. So I see you at the end of the race.
So Thomas then set the fastest lap. However, the success penalty means that he gets a grid drop, so that he's not on pole position. That goes to Björn Grossman and Louis Pret alongside. Fabian Volvend going to be someone to watch from P3 on the grid as the safety car is off, and clearly the start is not going to be behind the safety car. So you can see the spray that's being kicked up off the back of the Hublot safety car. Now, bear in mind, this is where whoever goes into turn one in the lead is going to have a significant advantage, because the spray kicked up by cars ahead means your visibility is reduced to virtually zero. Not only do they have to contest the challenging conditions, and already we have a car that failed to get away, but is getting away now. That's the car of Marian Safliarski. Now, the rules state that if the car does get going on the lap, it can retake his the position on track, and will be given sufficient time to catch up. All the social media at the top of the screen for you, and the anxious faces inside the garages. This is going to be a challenging race, forgive the pun, I feel sure, because of the really, really tricky track conditions. During the qualifying sessions earlier on today, we saw some cars off as they explored the limits of adhesion to find out exactly where they could go and where they couldn't go, and a couple found themselves in the gravel trap, that's for sure. So we hope none of that befalls our drivers out there on track during this 30-minute Trofeo Pirelli race, which will not be driven at the pace that we saw in the sunshine yesterday, regrettably. So the safety car leads them through, and cars making their way down to turn 11 now. You dip just slightly downhill. On board with Alessandro Bonaccini then, the Kessel Racing driver. And there, the safety car picks up the first of those as they head in towards turn number 12, and then the long sweeping turn number 13. On the inside, going to be Björn Grossman. On the outside, going to be Louis Pret. Ahead of Fabian Volved and Maximilian Mayer and Thomas Neubauer. Then the best of the AM drivers, Jack Brown, goes from the third row of the grid. He's one that will be looking very lively right at the start of this race, I would suggest. So keep your eyes on the lights, keep your eyes on the action. We are about to go racing. The lights go green, let's go racing. So already diving to the inside was Thomas Neubauer to try and make haste. And Björn Grossman has been mugged right at the start. And Louis Pret is leading. So Louis Pret goes into turn one ahead of Björn Grossman. Don't know quite what happened to Björn Grossman right at the start there, but Louis Pret is leading. Björn Grossman is P2. Then the real danger man is Thomas Neubauer, who's already made it up into P3. Also trying to come through is Nicolo Schiro. So Louis Pret leading from Björn Grossman, Thomas Neubauer. The start from Thomas Neubauer was exceptional. Now, the start is under investigation. We think here in our studio that the start lights flickered rather than going on. So that could have caused problems for Björn Grossman, who's now having to defend so hard against Thomas Neubauer. It means that he cannot chase after Louis Pret. So Louis Pret, whether the lights flickered or didn't flicker, Louis Pret was just going for it and was able to take advantage. So Neubauer there, almost losing out to Nicolo Schiro. He left the door open, but in these really tricky track conditions, Schiro was not able to take advantage of the window of opportunity that was afforded to him. Martin Nelson there behind the Fabian Volvend car, and Fabian Volvend, I would suggest, is really struggling because has dropped a number of places. So Martin Nelson has gone through on Fabian Volvend, and that looks like the car of Alessandro Bonaccini that is losing places as well. Christian Overgaard goes past in that Forza Racing number 45 car. So into the final turn for the first time of asking. And Björn Grossman still in that P2 place. You can see how difficult the visibility is going to be for all of these drivers. But Louis Pret has already, in the space of one lap, opened up a 1.2 second margin over Björn Grossman. And Louis Pret is far from a slow driver. Louis Pret is took a race win in Bahrain. He wasn't on the podium yesterday. And there is Sam Smith, another driver that has made up a huge amount of places. So here the start then, and from that replay, we don't see the lighting gantry, but the damage was done. Here we can see it better. Oh, definitely. You can see there that Louis Pret had got the draft on Björn Grossman. And Fabian Volvent also seemed to bog down right at the start of the race as well, which is why she lost out on a handful of places equally. Very, very sideways moment there for Alessandro Bonoccini, which allowed Christian Overgaard the opportunity to go by. And you can see just how difficult it is out there. Now, the number 87 car, you will recall, struggled to get away right at the start, the Marianne Sofliarski car, but all running perfectly okay now. And this is our race leader, Louis Pret. From Björn Grossman, a big, big sideways moment from Thomas Neubauer. But he controlled it, but what that has allowed is Nikolai Shiro to get even closer to Thomas Neubauer. That was around turn 13, so Louis Pret then, as we go almost 3 abreast, arguing over this P2 place. Neubauer's in a really difficult situation here because he wants to attack, but, oh, Christian Overgaard is off. Now, Christian Overgaard is off and in the gravel, and I would suggest that where that car is situated, pretty close to the racing line, that may well provoke a safety car. So Christian Overgaard then, the back end of the car, just getting away from him. Slide, 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 and once you're in the gravel, the car bogs down. It's exactly what the gravel is supposed to do. At the moment, we just have a localized yellow, but now we do have a safety car. Which does not surprise me, and that looks like Maximilian Meyer has gone around. I don't know whether it was Maximilian Meyer or Frank Rumi. It was probably Frank Rumi, to be fair. Now this, with the safety car, plays into the hands of Björn Grossman, potentially to Thomas Neubauer, and also potentially to Nicolas Shiro. So there is the safety car. It has been called for. And with but 5 minutes of racing done and dusted, the safety car will pick the cars up and allow the recovery of the Christian Overgaard. And there is Christian walking away from the car. Very, very disappointing because he did a really good job in qualifying. However, track conditions just caught him out in the race, and unfortunately his car is beached in the gravel. And that's a great shame because he would have probably had a very good result. Now, from the one time we saw Christian Overgaard going round, I'm pretty sure he was on his own. I don't think he was pushed into that. So the cars are now behind the safety car, being led across the timing line, whilst the Christian Overgaard car is recovered. And once that's done,
This year, 2019, is a year of Ferrari. And Ferrari and Hublot is already a long-term partnership that has been incredibly successful.
Hi everyone, I am Andrea Bertolini, Ferrari factory driver. I would like to introduce you the Ferrari Challenge safety car. It's a new livery 2019. This Hublot safety car, it will be the same one for all the Ferrari Challenge Championship around the world. Our Hublot safety car, it will be the same one for all the Ferrari Challenge Championship around the world. For us, it's a really important car because for the safety, it's a reference car. It will be on track always with the light on. And for the marshal, for the race director, it's a really important car.
So, thanks to Andrea Bertolini explaining why the new livery on the Hublot safety car. And the cars all lined up behind the safety car, which incidentally is driven in the European Challenge by Beppe Scanetti, a former Ferrari Challenge champion. and a mean driver. Very, very good driver is Beppe, and a lovely, lovely man as well. So the cars all then weaving, trying to keep some temperature into those wet weather tyres, which of course is not quite so critical as if we were on in a safety car situation on a dry track. But nonetheless, what this does do, it plays into the hands of those that were desperately trying to move ahead into the Rosso Corsa garage there. Now, I haven't seen how well the recovery is going with regards to the Christian Overgaard car. I wouldn't have thought it was going to take a huge amount of time, but the safety car is approaching the final turn now, so we're going to have at least one more lap behind the safety car, that's for sure. On board with John Dillon, the Grey Paul Nottingham driver. John Dillon finds himself in P4 in Trofeo Pirelli AM at the moment. And there's his driver coach, the very left-hand side of your picture. Now, we were advised that the start was under investigation, but have been told that no further action is going to be taken with regards to the start of the race. Louis Pret just clearly got the better of the start. There's Sam Smith having to make up a lot of places and finds himself in P9 overall. P7 in the Trofeo Pirelli Pro class, which of course is his class. We have two separate classes, the Trofeo Pirelli Pro drivers and the Trofeo Pirelli AM drivers. And they can be distinguished by the sun strip across the top of the windscreen. Safety car is coming in this lap, so I predicted that correctly. One more lap behind the safety car, and the safety car is approaching turn 6 now, so going to get back to racing with 19 minutes of race action still to come by the time the safety car has made its way around. So Trofeo Pirelli Pro drivers, red sun strip, white sun strip for the Trofeo Pirelli AM drivers. In the AM standings, it's Jack Brown, Martin Nelson, Alessandro Vezzoni, John Dillon and Emanuele Maria Tabacchi then, the way it stands at the moment. So we're standing by then, the safety car will come in. Safety car makes its way now through turn number 8 and heads towards turn number 9, which is that little kink you can just see to the left-hand side of your picture. Philippe Pret, father of Louis, to the very right-hand side of that picture there. Philippe himself, a champion in the Ferrari Challenge, races exclusively in the Asia-Pacific Series, but can remember him racing in the Italian, also the European Series in years gone by, and his son Louis now being very successful and racing in a number of categories, and has chosen the challenge for this year here in Europe. So the car's being led around turn number 13 now, that sweeping left-hander. Safety car has moved away. Now it is the responsibility of Louis Pret to control the pace of the restart. And of course it's down to Björn Grossman to try and anticipate when Louis Pret is going to give it a footfall and try and chase him down into turn number 1. Sam Smith with Fabien Volven right ahead. So the cars all light up now. And how well is Björn Grossman going to be on Louis Pret? Let's see. So as they all head, no overtaking until they've crossed the safety car line, of course. Bear that in mind, drivers, you could be in trouble. So Björn Grossman on the outside of Louis Pret, and under pressure is the number 3 car of Nicolo Schiro, who runs really, really wide. Here comes Björn Grossman, who's having a go at Louis Pret here. He knew that the only opportunity that was going to be gifted to him was a safety car. He got that, and now he's trying to come back and take that P1 place away from Louis Pret. But equally, Thomas Neubauer is all over the back of Björn Grossman. So Björn is thinking about defending, thinking about attacking. This battle for P1. As we've got the safety car in now, and joining in is Maximilian Meyer, because of course Nicolo Schiro went off. That meant that Maximilian Meyer could go up a place. He'd already overtaken, to be fair. But Louis Pret builds a margin of just a couple of car lengths over Björn Grossman. What Björn did, he went to the wide outside in turn number 1 in the hope of getting close enough to be able to get a run on Louis Pret going into turn number 2. Didn't quite work out. But you can see Björn Grossman and Louis Pret just breaking away a little bit from Thomas Neubauer, who, of course, has got Maximilian Mayer for company. Sam Smith has got by Fabian Volvend. So Sam Smith is now ahead of Fabian Volvend and making his way through the order as well. He's got an awful lot of cars to overtake yesterday's race winner. So, will Grossman try and do the same again? He wants to get the drag off the back of the Louis Pret car going into turn number 1. Louis Pret moves to the inside to defend. Grossman has to go to the outside. They are side by side, but of course the inside line is the quickest way round. If he makes this work, this will be the overtake of the day. He's still on the outside. Louis Pret's got the inside line for turn number 2. Surely, Björn Grossman, what an effort to try and make that happen in the slipperiest of conditions. Fair play to that racing driver for having a go. He is clearly quicker than Louis Pret, but he's got to find a way by. And he's being pushed and pushed and pushed by Thomas Neubauer as well. I think that around turn number 1 and turn number 2 was a remarkable effort and extremely brave. So they're now running through turn number 8. Look, Grossman is sideways, but he just controls the car. Neubauer all over him. And now, as he just not quite got the opportunity to get alongside. So we're at half distance of this race, and you can see how Björn is really fighting with that car. Grip is so difficult. I'm not sure he's close enough to Louis Pret to be able to get a run on him going into turn number 1 once again. I mean, he tried it last time around and it was remarkable to watch. I take it all back. He is right on him. He's going to have another go. This is brilliant racing between the two of them. And he's further ahead. He has done it. It's absolutely extraordinary. That should not happen. He should not be able to do that going around the outside of turn number 1. And I have to say, fair play to Louis Pret as well, who didn't move an inch. It was brilliant racing from both of them. Amazing stuff. Amazing racing from these drivers. So Grossman now leads from Louis Pret, P2, Thomas Neubauer, P3. Wow, I really didn't think I would see that. Now, Max Mayer, who is P4 at the moment, has set the fastest lap by some 7/10, but of course he would, because as these two were fighting, he was able to maybe close in a bit. But now you can see, and I did say before the overtake happened, that Grossman was clearly quicker. And now he has managed to get past Louis Pret. He's up the road, look. Amazing. Sector 1, Sector 2, both purple, because he is that much quicker. There's Thomas Neubauer, who's looked really lively as well. Oh, and Alessandro Vezzoni is off, and another car is off as well. I think that's the 87 car of Marianne Supflarski. Here comes Grossman, and there is Maximilian Mayer, who's being chased by Nicolo Schiro now. But of course, Maximilian Mayer has got by Nicolo Schiro. Whoa! And a big sideways moment there for Jack Brown. And Sam Smith is on the back of Jack Brown now. This is Alessandro Vezzoni then. Just lost the back end of the car. And then very good avoidance by the Emanuele Maria Tabacchi car. Oh, and John Dillon and the number 65 car, Frederick Asperson, make contact and pirouette in perfect stereo. They both went round like a ballet move almost. Now, please listen to this. In the last lap, as Björn Grossman sets the fastest lap. Why? Because he's 1.7 seconds quicker than anyone else. The instant you've just seen with the number 65 car of Frederick Asperson and John Dillon is under investigation. There is Maximilian Meyer in the number 10 car. We've only got just under 12 minutes of racing left. I have to say, coming into the studio, I was concerned that with the weather conditions, this could be something of a damp squib of a race. How wrong can you be? For that one overtake alone. So Maximilian Meyer and Nicolo Schiro then fighting over that P4 place. At the moment, Schiro heads Meyer. May not stay like that. Here comes Björn Grossman, crossing the timing line, and another fastest lap, a 1:46.598, as he extends his lead to 2.2 seconds over Louis Pret, who in turn is... Now, what has happened to Thomas Neubauer? Because Nicolo Schiro and Maximilian Meyer have gone by Thomas Neubauer, and that's why, top right-hand corner of your screen, in trying hard, he kept his foot in through the gravel, but inevitably he lost out on a number of places. And the last one was Jack Brown, who, to be fair to him, couldn't really not make contact as Thomas Neubauer was coming back on, but even before that, Schiro had overtaken Meyer. So Grossman's latest fastest lap then, a 1:46.598, as you can see on screen. There is Louis Pret, who's P2, but this is our race leader, Björn Grossman. And these track conditions do not phase Björn Grossman at all. You'll recall that just a few moments ago we saw John Dillon and Frederick Asperson with problems. Well, John Dillon has got a drive-through penalty for his part in that little contact between the two of them. Jack Brown is leading the AMs from Martin Nelson and Manuel Tabacchi. And in the pro class, of course, it's Grossman, Pret and Nicolo Schiro. So confirmation of that drive-through penalty for car number 61. John Dillon. Here comes race leader Björn Grossman. I still can't quite believe I saw him go round the outside at turn number 1. Well, John Dillon may not be taking his drive-through penalty anytime soon on account of the fact he might be stuck in the gravel there in contact with the car of Oliver Plasman. Now you can see Björn is relishing these conditions. He's sideways for a lot of the time. And we have another safety car. What a disaster this is for Björn Grossman, because he'd built up a lead of just under 3 seconds, and now can Louis Pret return what Björn Grossman did at the first safety car? But of course, with only 8 3/4 minutes left, that is assuming the safety car comes in again. Jack Brown then, Oliver Plasman. And you can see the damage to the back of the number 9 car. Well, I hope during this safety car, hint, hint, to my colleagues in the truck, we can see a replay of Björn Grossman's overtake, because that was just a work of art. It really was. And bravery, which meant that he's got, I was going to say something I shouldn't, massive courage. That's what he's got. So, will we see the safety car back in? I do hope so. There, the safety car awaits, picking them up then. And the big advantage that Björn Grossman had in terms of time between P1 and P2, of course, will count as nothing now because all the cars will be lined up behind the safety car. Sam Smith is another driver that's made rapid progress through the pack, bearing in mind how far back on the pack he started, courtesy of the success penalties that he suffered. So credit to Sam for that. But there, Björn Grossman is behind the Hublot safety car. And there, the rain coming down. And a big, big slide for Alessandro Bonaccini. Let's enjoy the challenge show. So that the challenge show then. We have just under 6 minutes remaining behind the safety car, or will we get some race in? I hope so. I really do hope so. It has been too good, and in conditions which are extremely challenging. Inside the Octane 126 garage, of course, where tensions will be high because Björn Grossman into the Rosso Corsa garage now. You can see Aggie Smolka there, who gives us a wave, thanks. And Roberto Viva, one of our official photographers as well, joining in the action. Now, I was counting down the minutes. We're into final 5 minutes now. We're not going to get many laps of racing if the safety car does come in. That's for sure. Now, please enjoy this replay. Thanks, guys, for bringing this to us. So, Björn Grossman sets this up perfectly. He has almost got past Louis Pret, but he does go right to the outside of the circuit where the grip is, well, minimal, I would suggest. But I also must give credit to Louis Pret, who was absolutely fair and didn't run him wide. It was just brilliant racing between both of them. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate that. What an overtake that was. So, Grossman, Louis Pret, Nicolo Schiro, P1, 2 and 3 in terms of Trofeo Pirelli Pro. There is John Dillon's car being recovered. So, once that gets to a position of safety, that will allow the safety car. Now, they could call the safety car in. The safety car is approaching turn number 6, which, if the lights go off now, gives sufficient warning to the drivers for the safety car to come in, I would suggest. There's enough of the lap left for it to come in. But the lights are still on the safety car. So, what have we got? 3.5 minutes. I think the safety car would have to come back in this lap, or it might just be too late. Well, I still maintain, I think, that they could get the safety car in this lap, but that's not my call, to be fair. So there is the leader in the AMS, Jack Brown. Safety car is coming in this lap. Do you know what? I love it when a plan comes together. It doesn't often happen, just occasionally. So now Björn Grossman is going to have to make that 488 as wide as he can. We're going to have probably 2 more laps of racing. Everyone is going to be champing at the bit because there is unfinished business as far as many are concerned. I just hope that this safety car restart and the 2 laps thereafter are every bit as good as some of the other laps that we've seen, and doesn't descend into a maelstrom of disaster. Right, Björn Grossman then leads the cars away. Louis Pret is the man that's P2, Nicolo Schiro P3. So into turn number 1. So all looks pretty good going through turn number 1. Taking a wide line was Thomas Neubauer. Some activity going on behind we can almost not see because of the spray, and a car has gone around. Potentially, back on again. I think it was Fabian Volvend. Good save and good to get back out on track and not get collected. But Martin Nelson is dropping down the order. So too is, I was going to say Eli Kanyet, but now I wonder whether Martin Nelson and Fabian had contact, and that's caused damage to the Martin Nelson car. And there you can see Nicolo Schiro all over Louis Pret, going to try and go around the outside here. That's going to be a big ask. Didn't quite do it. Louis Pret defending for all he can. This battle for P2 with Nicolo Schiro. Of course, what it does do, it all plays into the hands of Björn Grossman, who's able to escape up the road. To be fair, he's had the pace anyway. Louis Pret then. Schiro to the outside, just trying to get and unsettle Louis Pret to see if he'll make a mistake, but generally speaking, he doesn't. Look, as he's all over the final turn, trying to find a way. Now Louis Pret, I suggest, will move over to the inside to try and defend that inside line from Nicolo Schiro. Alessandro Vezzoni's also dropped down. Alessandro Vezzoni's in the gravel. So Vezzoni's out. Schiro almost loses the front end of the car in his quest to try and get by Louis Pret. What a big sideways moment for Thomas Neubauer, but he held on to it. We are into the final lap. The contest is over P2 here. So the incident involving cars number 5 and number 13, which is Fabian Volvend and Martin Nelson, is under investigation. So that reinforces what we thought. Now, where Vezzoni is there going to be a waved yellow there? I think he was sufficiently off the track, and he was on one of the runoff parts, one of the safety roads, to be honest. Here comes Nicolo Schiro. He's got a few more turns with which to do this and try and find his way past Louis Pret. Louis is being perfectly fair and defending, but he's not weaving from side to side. The opportunity is there if Nicolo's going to be brave enough to go around the outside. Now he dives to the inside, but that, of course, becomes the inside for the next turn. He set that up really well, but can Louis Pret come back at him? This is extraordinary, but this man is going to win the race. Björn Grossman heads out of the final turn and heads towards the checkered flag. He takes the win. P2 to Nicolo Schiro. P3 Louis Pret. P4 Thomas Neubauer. Jack Brown wins for the AMS from Emanuela Maria Tabacchi and Marianne Sofliarski, who stalled on the grid. You may recall, what an extraordinary Ferrari Challenge race. And Martin Nelson, whatever problems he did have, he managed to keep it going. Has finished, but way down the order. And Octane 126 are celebrating the success of their driver, Björn Grossman. What an incredible race. And I have to say, real credit to Louis Pret, Nicolo Schiro, and to Thomas Neubauer as well, because, you know, drove like stars. And there is Alessandro Vezzoni. Please, can I have a lift? Yes, he's having his lift back. That's where I thought he was. I thought he was on one of the escape roads, and that was far enough away, wasn't it, from the racing line. This was the overtake of Nicolo Schiro. He set it up really, really well. Louis Pret had done everything he could to try and defend that position, and tried to come back as well, but Nicolo Schiro had done a really good job there. Wow, what a race. So there, the Nicolo Schiro car. And confirmation of the top three in each category then. Björn Grossman taking the win from Nicolo Schiro and Louis Pret. Then it's in the AMs, Jack Brown, Emmanuel Maria Tabaki, and Marianne Safliarski. I think it's probably Safliarski's first podium. Go on, knock it over, knock it over, knock it over. God, oh, Björn. Absolutely extraordinary race. So he's out, and Yannick there, team boss, congratulates him. We know that team principal Christian Berchinger from Octane 126, he's not here today. He's been here for the rest of the days, but he's not here today. So congratulations, Christian, if you're watching on your phone somewhere. At the moment, Louis Pret can't get his car into the assembly area. Wow. And there, the winner of the AM class, Jack Brown, who equally did a great job. But as you can appreciate, with everything that was going on, our focus really was on Björn Grossman. Let's take a look at the highlights. And actually, there were plenty. So, as the cars were released in really challenging driving conditions, you could see, just as they unleashed the power of the 488 Challenge car, how difficult it was going to be. Louis Pret, well, he anticipated the start far better than Björn Grossman and got the advantage and put himself into P1. Christian Overgaard was one of many that would pirouette on the really difficult racing tarmac. As you can see, there were more than one. Safety car was called for, and that perhaps opened up an opportunity to Björn Grossman. Now, turn one, he had a go for the first time of asking, and he couldn't make it work. You can see just how hard he was trying around every single turn. But when it came to go number two, that's when he really made it count. Alessandro Vezzoni was another one of the drivers that went for a small spin. And Frederick Espersen and John Dillon made contact, and they both pirouetted in perfect stereo. John Dillon eventually would retire his car. Martin Nelson and Fabian Volvend had a little coming together as well. And there you can see Alessandro Vezzoni finding the escape road and the gravel trap. Octane 126, the team that engineer the 84 car, were very happy to see their driver win that race. Classification then, Björn Grossman, Nicolo Schiro, Louis Pret, the 1-2-3 with Thomas Neubauer, Maximilian Meyer, Sam Smith, Fabian Volvend, and Alessandro Bonaccini taking the 8th place. So Trofeo Pirelli Pro and Trofeo Pirelli AM cars. And we're going to be heading up to the podium very soon. And drivers already out there on the podium. Björn Grossman, what a star you are.
Señor Francesco Bianchi, Head of Ferrari Europe and Africa, entregará el trofeo al tercer clasificado Luis Prete. Francesco Bianchi, responsable de Ferrari Europe y África, segundo clasificado Nicolás Quiroz. Don Francisco Bianchi entregará el trofeo al vencedor Björn Grossman.
I've seen him look happy on plenty of occasions, but looking at his happiest. And the Pirelli trophy presented by Gianfranco Vaccari. So trophy presentations to Björn Grossman, Nicolo Schiro and Louis Pret. I have to say, fair play to each and every one of the drivers because they fought hard but very, very fair. And now, enjoy that champagne, you deserve it. Of course, we still have the Trofeo Pirelli AM podium to enjoy. So the top three cars then, Louis Pret for Formula Racing takes P3. Taking P2 was the car of Nicolo Schiro from Rosso Corsa. And of course, Octane 126 for the winner, Björn Grossman. In the Drivers' Championship, Nicolo Schiro on 65 points, Sam Smith on 55, Louis Pret 55 as well. Björn Grossman P5 in the points, but of course, Björn Grossman wasn't at the first round in Bahrain, and therefore banked no points from that round. So the podium is being readied for Jack Brown from Greypool, Nottingham, to be on the top step. And there the circuit Ricardo Tormo in all its glory, which truthfully would look better in the sunshine, but we ain't getting any of that today. Cars down there parked up, having delivered us a fantastic race. Some of the images then from that Trofeo Pirelli race in our challenge show whilst we await the AM podium. So the reason for the slight delay to the AM podium was the issue of a transponder problem on Martin Nelson's car, which was car number 13. So actually Martin Nelson has been recategorized as being P2. So we're going to see Jack Brown, Martin Nelson and Emanuele Maria Tabacchi on the podium for the AM podium. So apologies for the delay, but that is the reason behind it. And we will get to that podium momentarily. Some more images for you whilst we await that. So there is the classification then. Jack Brown, Martin Nelson, Emanuele Maria Tabacchi, Soflearski P4, then Jan Dennis, Frank Rumi, Frederick Asperson, Thomas O'Rourke, Ali Kamyab, and Oliver Plasman then. Next race, Copichel Race 2 at 13:35 GMT. Make sure you join us for that. If there's anything like this Trofeo Pirelli race, can't afford to miss it. So some great shots of the cars down there, just beneath the podium. And just as we speak, the classification has changed again, which is why the podium is being somewhat delayed. Apologies for this, but basically the race stewarding team are looking at all the evidence, and I would suggest that probably they've reviewed the incident with Fabio Volvend and decided to, because we have a message on our screen which says driver and team manager of cars 5 and 13 report to race control. So that, I suggest, is why we still have further wait to this AM podium. Here it comes now. Jack Brown is going to be on the top step. We know that. Emanuele Maria Tabacchi is going to be P2, and Marianne Safliarski is going to be P3. That's the way the podium is. Well done, Jack Brown, winner in the Trofeo Pirelli AM class. So Martin Nelson picked up a time penalty of some 25 seconds. Andrea Bertolini then, the GT driver, making the trophy presentations. Emanuele Maria Tabacchi receiving his. Jack Brown, of course, receiving the trophy there. And Gianfranco Vaccari presenting the Pirelli trophy
Es el momento de la fotografía para el recuerdo en lo alto del podio del Ricardo Tormo.
All pose for the photos before the champagne.
Y ya después de esas imágenes instantáneas llegará el tiempo de
All smiles.
todo lo alto. Después de esta segunda manga de la carrera Pirelli, Trofeo Pirelli en la categoría amateur, con el champán, aguantando mucho ahí para hacerse las fotos.
And now,
Aquí tiene más ganas que nadie.
time for the champagne. Confirmation of the classification in the end then. Jack Brown, Emmanuel Maria Tabacchi, and Marianne Safliarski then, probably first time on the podium, I think, ahead of Jan Dennis, Frank Rumi, and Frederick S. Burson. And the top three then, the 87 car of Marianne Safliarski. P2, Emanuele Maria Tabacchi. And P1, of course, from the UK, Jack Brown taking the win. And there, the celebrations on the podium. And in the Drivers' Championship, Emmanuel Maria Tabacchi leads on 76 points ahead of Jack Brown and Jan Dennis. Make sure you join us for the Copa Shell race later this afternoon. Bye-bye for now.